I'm excited to bring you the grand finals of the newest professional StarCraft 2 tournament, the Korean StarCraft League, a community-organized and supported tournament for showcasing the best region in StarCraft 2 history, and I am not the least bit surprised to see the red Terran player. It is Micro Jackson fighting his way through, of course, another online tournament, another chance for him to show off. But he's got quite an opponent in a rematch of the best game of the year so far, in my opinion. The best Korean StarCraft 2 Terran player. It is the man, the myth, the Maru. Yes, this is a best of 5 for the weekly Korean StarCraft League. Find out more about this amazing tournament and support it. Check the description. Be awesome if you could check it out. I'm supporting it as well. Of course, I love showing good games for the fans. So, like, subscribe, and then actually, for once, open up that description thing. It should be right. Jimmy, how many times? Thank you to Chicken Man and Dave Testa for organizing, and of course, the players for showing up and showing great games. I know, TVT, the chess boxing duel. Just a whole lot of strategy, positioning, tactics, punctuated by obliterating one another's faces with siege tanks, Vikings, what have you. These two had such an epic game. In I Am Katowice, the World Championships were ByuN continually outmaneuvered Maru with Marines and tanks, while Maru tried to pin him down. After 30 minutes of chaos, eventually Maru was able to do so. But there were so many points where it looked like ByuN was dead, but he just slipped out of Maru's grasp. We'll see if we get a repeat performance here. I'm very excited. TVT, I find, of the mirror matchups, which, let's be honest, is not most people's favorite. Jimmy, can I see some health bars here? I know, like, as much as I like leaving things in suspense, I still want to know. I do enjoy it the most. PvP is... You don't really enjoy it. It's kind of like watching a car crash during NASCAR. ByuN's like, have you tried microing your Reaper? Maru just scoffs. ByuN. Of course, ByuN knows all about microing Reapers. Maru. Classic GG. Special chimes in. First one, special. I don't know where. Anyways, everybody's involved. Of course, he said it in observers chat, so at least the players can't see him. What I can only assume is special smirking on the sidelines here. Where are we, though? Oh, yeah, TVT. I'm very glad we got these two in TVT, because ByuN just asserts his playstyle on the game. It is... there are few players who so clearly have a style they want to play, and will do it against the grain, with the grain, no matter how much grain there is involved. They look for their style to get that bread, so... ByuN already multiple times has tried to set up a medevac drop, but decided against it. Maru, on the other hand, has 3 command centers. ByuN's 3rd command center on the low ground. It's all about the details in TVT, especially in the early game. Exactly how many Ravens are we building? Exactly how many command centers, and at what time? What upgrades are we focusing on? How much for air control? Viking count? All important things here. I expect Maru to, as usual, focus more on unit composition and is building the right army to win the game, whereas ByuN will do whatever he can. Oh my god, the Raven... Now this is an interesting one, because... well, the auto turret to zone out. So, the Ravens can use Interference Matrix to disable the Ravens. He's trying to just outlast the auto turrets here, but he may actually just kill a Raven, and the other one... Well, there's nothing left to deal with it, so he's going to be able to slap down. This is one of the weirdest fights I've ever seen. He slaps down... Wait a second, Maru? Maru actually going to get away with it. A 1 HP Raven against Ravens with no energy might as well be... It's still a massive threat. And 6 SCVs go down. Maru getting the early damage there in that game of energy-based chicken. And, well, the Cyclone going to be pinned back to deal with it. What is up here? We got two Vikings. We're hunting. I think looking for that medevac that ByuN showed earlier, but has not bothered with sending it out. We got the full spread of bio upgrades now. The classic 1-1 combat shield. Looks like Maru going to have an edge in that count as well. He's got 59 workers to 48. He's got 112 supply to 110. ByuN just hasn't really done anything to slow Maru down. Building these ravens, I mean, they both built 2 ravens. You saw that right there on the screen. So, Maru so far, by most metrics and Imperial units, is somewhat ahead. Gonna try to slap down an auto turret right in the middle line, and maybe even get the raven out. Oh my. Does that work? Do they actually kill it? I guess they do. I guess the SCVs, because the auto turret was nerfed with the last patch. Doesn't last as long, has less HP and armor. So I guess SCVs can counter it, but probably not ideal. It does get them back to mining quicker, which is probably what ByuN was thinking there. ByuN a very just fight it kind of guy, so. 1-1 done for Maru. Does he have his combat shield as well? No. And he doesn't have it in production, which is a classic mistake that even the top tier players make. No, you forgot combat shield. I can't believe how often this happened. This has happened for 13 years straight. Terran players forgetting combat shield. It's essentially a third of the games in Diamond, and still about 10% apparently at the professional level. Yeah, he's had stim done. ByuN actually has an advantage in his army. That combat shield is a huge deal, with having any HP left over after hitting the stim button. Oh, takes down the rocks, siege tank, drives back some of the Marines, but there is about a 1.5-minute window here. A little under that, where ByuN might be able to make use of the fact Maru just doesn't have combat shield. Oh, siege tank on the high ground as well. Oh, he disables it. Gonna try to work his way through the rocks. The interference matrix helps out with it. A lot of siege tanks on the low ground. The Vikings finding some great pickups here. Maru in position to defend. But without the combat shield, I keep going over it because it's just so damn important. And I think ByuN most certainly noticed. Anti-armor missile, though, gonna counteract a lot of the advantage. And the third base is forced to lift. ByuN, he was going to go for the army. He decides on a softer target, the command center. But Maru, and ByuN picks up anything he can get. It goes straight to the main. There was a Cyclone in there, a few Marines, and Maru's coming back to defend. ByuN has just those siege tanks, but Maru, before he can pick up and take advantage of it, might decide to chase him down, but the unsiege tank's going to be able to get the Marines as they... Oh! The last medevac taken out, but ByuN is maintaining a momentum advantage. Finally, the combat shield finishes. But this is exactly the sort of game I was expecting to see from Maru versus ByuN, as ByuN just tries every angle to get the damage. And he's so fast at it, he's able to catch Maru off guard. But at the end of the day, Maru able to pick off the medevacs, clears out the siege tanks, whittles down the medevac count, and now has the superior Marine count as well. Another drop tries to come into the main, circumvents the turret, dropping all over everything. 20 SCVs have died in the last minute, and that's not the end of it. The Marines get 1, 2, looking at 3 Vikings. 21 SCVs. Somehow ByuN has drawn things even. The high speed, high risk, and high reward style of ByuN being rewarded so far. He doesn't have 2-2 done quite yet, but he hasn't had to take a heads-up fight with an upgrade disadvantage. He's drawn the worker count even. ByuN is being ByuN in Game 1, and I hope you're having fun. Thank you guys for watching the Korean StarCraft League. Let me check that info again. Oh, but here comes Maru. Counterattack. Has more tanks, more Marines, and a decent position. Stutter steps in, takes it out, but the double drop in the bet to undercut any sort of advantage Maru gains on the other side of the map. 18 SCVs, almost 20 SCVs for both sides drawn into the fray, but the medevacs and the Marine count too much as ByuN takes out the reinforcements. They pop out into a world where ByuN's Marines will gun them down immediately. Maru unable to consolidate his forces. ByuN trying to hold the line back at home, splits and stems, dragging out the siege tank damage. So far, Marines being obliterated on either side, but with just 4 Marines, that's more than enough for ByuN to do the damage. And he's stimming through. He's done it. He's undercut Maru back at home and takes game one in one of the most hectic, relatively short Terran versus Terrans. Yeah, a bit of a slow start and then exploded into the action there. Absolutely beautiful. So fun to watch. ByuN. Maru's good too, I guess. But this time around, Maru not able to keep up. I don't want to blame it all on Combat Shield. But that certainly is what ByuN noticed and used to his advantage to kind of shove his way into the fray there. And I think that made a huge difference in the game overall. Jimmy, can we get... Come on, let's go. Ain't nobody got time for this. It's a TVT. Who knows? There's probably like a... Oh, Maru? You got lucky, ByuN. Okay. I get lucky a lot. You jealous? Okay. Maru is married, by the way. Which he explains there. ByuN says, cool story. I want to take this time to say, one, Maddox is in the game. He's observing. In fact, we've been using his observer camera. Maddox, one of the Korean translators / casters / PlanetSide 2 commander, side note. But Maddox, why aren't you translating an observer chat? I'm going to have a talk with him about... It'd be awesome if he could translate in the observer chat, just for us watching the replay. But, of course, hopefully you guys enjoy my translations, which I'm using some software called Making It Up. Like and subscribe for more info on Making It Up as we do it live. Game 2. Already loving this series. If there was, I mean, Oliveira... Of course, a good time, and quite a day that was. But ByuN versus Maru, no matter who wins, is in fact, I'm kind of surprised ByuN broke through there, as Maru clearly had the advantage in unit composition. It's just ByuN does not respect. You give him an inch and he'll take a kilometer. There's no room for error. Of course, his style is also a double-edged sword. If any of those attacks, he just runs right in. He misclicks, or he decides to attack into the wrong amount of siege tanks. It dies immediately. He's just so aggressive that it can sometimes easily be overextending. So. Well, once again, a relatively slow start. I think it's kind of like ZVZ. PvP never suffers from this, but ZVZ, where the early game aggression between the top players is somewhat light. Not all the time, but much of the time. Because they both respect their opponent too much. They both know that they're not going to get away with, like, 2 Reapers coming in and doing damage. It's like Ling Bane in Zerg vs. Zerg, where you'll rarely see players commit fully to it, because one of those Banelings is simply not going to kill 20 Lings. It's not the Diamond Link, okay? It's just not going to get the damage done. So you can't rely on it. You get behind if you go for anything too aggressive in the super early game. I don't mean going for like a medevac drop when you have 150 supply. I mean like committing to a bunch of Reapers and trying to sneak by or something like that. Speaking of, Maru puts a Reaper into the base, and ByuN says, "Are you serious, bro?" Thus backing up my point, Maru says, "Well, I thought you were sleeping based on how you've played lately." "I saw you against Cyril." ByuN says, "Okay." "I'm just saying, bro." ByuN, "Why are you still talking? We're in the middle of a game." Moving on. WPM almost as important as APM in the middle of a StarCraft 2 match. Important for banter. Third CC for Maru. Nothing of the sort for ByuN. He has not opted for it. He's got the money at the moment. We'll see. He's got 500 minerals. What are you doing? No, what? I don't think that's right. Uh-oh. ByuN! ByuN! ByuN. Okay, he can't fit a barracks on... No, that's too close. Maru is shaking him. They're like, you scared? ByuN says, okay. Oh my god. Oh, it's working. Whatever Maru's saying, it's working. Because ByuN definitely messed that up there. That's a rookie mistake, really. Maru scans, probably wondering why that reactor's so late on the starport. Of course, we're busy. Oh, wow. 3cc? Where is it? Why is everything so late? Why is your macro so bad? Ah, and then the attack comes. Well, the Ravens could just shut this down outright, but he does need a follow-up. Meanwhile, ByuN's Ravens sneaking into the main. The tank unsieges at the worst possible time here. Trying to come back and deal with these. Interference matrix to interrupt the cyclone. Maru. All right. ByuN says okay. I'm gonna have to figure out what that symbol means, but I like my interpretation. Have you tried micro? Mm-hmm. Well, those, yeah, this... Did he miss it? I think he doubled it. Oh, no, he got all three. He got all three. Oh, this is a disaster. Yeah. Yeah, ByuN. Oh, we're definitely gonna get some words after this one. That was... ByuN was over there. I think ByuN's trying to trash talk, but he's missing his build. He's missing some steps back at home. And at the front. Like, that was clearly... He saw the energy on the Ravens. He should not have been there. I think he just dies now. That isn't great. And Maru had combat shield queued up this time around. It is ByuN who has forgotten to start combat shield. Oh, no. Yeah, he's just forgot. Okay, I guess it's ByuN's turn. There must always be one. Wow, it's bad, though. Not having combat shield. We've been over this. I feel like I'm repeating myself, but it's only because they keep making the same mistakes. Anti-armor missile? Did he just... What a genius. Maru just anti-armor missile a Marine that died right where his own units ran into. So Maru ends up anti-armor missiling himself. Which gives ByuN, I guess, a small chance here. And oh my god, it's a mess as they drop all over each other. Oh, I don't even know if I can show this. It's raining men. You love to see it. Some more than others. Well, here comes Maru. Interference matrix, but he... Yeah. ByuN just started combat shield. Even the mule's coming out to play. He's actually killing. Where did that Raven? That's a select all. Raven just glides past. Wow. So ByuN isn't dead, which is a miracle in many ways here. He lost 33 SCVs. I think he got the third command center out. Yeah, he did. Okay, so that's, I guess, something. But he doesn't have 2-2 on the way. His combat shield still isn't done. I'm surprised Maru hasn't commented on it, but Maru has also been struggling with the banter plus APM combo, as he definitely botched that attack to some extent. It should be enough for an anti-armor missile here. Might be the choice. I think it is the choice, really. He has to choose, or it could just die. That also works. That's usually my strat. Stop using my strats, ByuN. He's got a medevac on the other side. The tank is sieged up in the main. Combat shield finally done. As ByuN playing hard to get. This game has been significantly sloppier. The Marine's gone down, the medevac. It's not good. ByuN starts 2-2, very optimistically. And so many scans. Fourth command center on the way from Maru as well, so this is... He splits and stems. Takes out one. There's actually three more siege tanks to back it up, so... ByuN boosts into a hold position, so not ideal there. And now he doesn't have boost. Oh, it's bad. It's really bad. Okay. Maru stimmed his way, and then ByuN just cuts back. Somehow ByuN's still in the game. And we'll find an opportunity. Is there still a siege tank jammed in there? There is for now. This is awkward. ByuN may very well find a chance here to undercut. There's just not enough Marines. Already +3 armor starting for Maru. It was a little bit later on the weapons. This will be dealt with. They both scanned the middle of the map in the same spot, wondering where the other is. Maru actually dragged a lot of his army back. ByuN has been trying to buy time. Well, ByuN picks up with everything he can and heads to the main. Maru scans the middle of the map again. I assume the main eventually here. The rest of the units on their way out. +1 vehicle weapons. Alright, we're heading towards the main here. So, ByuN, with his signature move. Maru actually, I think that tank was there not because it was intentional, but because it's walled off. ByuN, where are you, bro? And then Maru stims into his natural. GG, GG. I do love the addition there, but it's over. Okay, okay. What a mess. All tied up, 1-1. It's good. I assume they're having fun with it and not hurling insults at each other with great animosity, but I can't confirm. So, maybe it's better if that's the case. I'm... What a mess. Game 3. Maru says, "You're slowing down, old man." ByuN is going on 30 years old. Maru is half a decade younger. ByuN says, "When will you learn?" Maru says, "I'm your teacher." After a questioning look, ByuN says, "Okay." Maru says, "Okay," which it's the classic. This is an absolute StarCraft 2 classic, which is chat up your opponent while doing a proxy Rex. I would love if Maru stoops / commits to saying like a ponderous question moments before the first Reapers jump in. That would be beautiful if Maru goes to that fully cheese like barcode level tactic of, "Hey, where are you from?" And then the Reapers jump in that split second when you're supposed to be microing. That would be an appropriate way for this to go. I bet the way Maru looks, I mean, Maru looks like a total troll. He's always smiling. He's losing, he's smiling. Well, maybe not the World Championships. I bet Maru's a huge troll online. Okay, we just don't get to see it, well, because most of us watching here don't speak Korean. ByuN has not scouted at all. He is rallying towards the potential proxy Rex location. But let's see those tactical bants. Let's see it, Maru. Come on. He's gonna wait for the second Reaper. ByuN goes out. He's gonna see it. Probably wants to pull some SCV. He didn't see the racks. Maru. Really? Well, now there are 2 SCVs down here for some reason. I actually don't know why. ByuN is offended. The the synchronized grenades. Hellion on the way. So far, Maru got 2 free SCVs, but it hasn't done particularly much damage. And once the Hellion is out, this becomes much more difficult to make work. Special types GG for everyone. I'm not entirely sure why. Well. Of course, Special spent plenty of time in Korea as well. So he knows how to, well, as a massive troll and one who understands some Korean. Oh, this has gone badly. Oh, Hellion's just gonna go across. ByuN did not manage to come out ahead of the Reaper micro here, clearly. That feels like he didn't really try on it. But, well, that's gonna be a cancel. This is a mess. Yeah. He's trying to get back with that second Hellion. Is this game gonna go on? Okay, Maru's just gonna macro it. We're just gonna build command centers. The worker count is even. I'm surprised Maru didn't press the issue by trying to just kill ByuN at this stage. But here we are. He's intimidated by the Hellions. There's still enough, like, Maru now has 2... Wait. Yeah, he just built 2 Hellions. So, any amount of units on the high ground, Maru should have enough. We'll see. He comes up the ramp. 3 Hellions against 2 Hellions and 5 Reapers, which is quite a disparity against 0 Reapers, especially. Trying to get those Hellion lines, but... Oh no, he's super dead, right? Yeah. ByuN. GG. Probably a little salty about that one. Classic proxy Reaper from Maru. Maru, probably the most successful proxy Rexer in the history of StarCraft 2. I don't even think it's close, considering how long Maru has played and how prevalent proxy Rexes have been. They've gone from pretty popular to almost every other game. Especially with Maru, there was an era. Maybe we just go with proxies because that would still be a very high number. But ByuN has managed to win the coin flip for the blue color, which we all know is OP. ByuN managed to overcome the disadvantage. This is, I just want to say, please don't. It's not so bad in non-mirror matchups. But when they... Why? I know it's the Korean StarCraft League, but for the rest of us normies out here... Maddox, please help. Make sure to check that description for the info. As well as like and subscribe, of course. ByuN, I always knew you were a filthy cheeser. Maru says... Alright. Is that how you won GSL? Do what you gotta do. It's not like ByuN hasn't done a proxy Rex or 2 in his day. Come on. Okay. Alright, now you say, do you have no respect? Do you have no respect for StarCraft 2? Do you think the fans want to watch these games? Do you think that proxy Rexes are what they find entertaining? Okay. I gotta simmer down. I get it. Is this a command? No. Wait. Command center first from ByuN? Or... No, one Rex expand, right? No, maybe? I'm sorry, I'm too... Maybe they're talking about that. Anyways, ByuN is a way faster command center. Maru wondering what that is all about. SCV here to drag some shots in. ByuN explaining his life philosophy. Maru wondering why he's doing that. Yeah, they're talking so much. I've never said, like, this is... a whole it's a sitcom now, just with StarCraft in the background. I know K-dramas are very popular, so good we get some for ourselves. Grenades bouncing the Marines around. ByuN, he's pulling SCVs. No, okay, he's just... What's all that about? ByuN is not scouted at all.
Base is under attack. Additional supply depots required.
Well, does not want to go down the ramp yet. Doesn't know what's down there. ByuN is suspicious. Clearly. Maru says it's fine. There's a cyclone. It's not fine. He picks up into the medevac. Two cyclones versus one. I'm sorry, I'm so distracted thinking about what they could be talking about that I forget I'm supposed to be casting the game. It feels like they're already casting it. Well, 8 SCVs, 9 SCVs of ByuN go down, but guess what on the other side? There's a bunch of Marines and a Hellion in this medevac. A medevac was boosted back for Maru. Maru finds time to chat. I don't... Well... And, well, ByuN's already doing plenty of damage, but he did have an earlier command center, so despite losing so many workers, Special also chiming in, just because it wasn't confusing enough. Now there's a cyclone drop. What a mess. For my own sanity, I'm going to try to ignore... I can't believe I'm saying this about Maru versus ByuN, but I'm going to try to ignore the players' chat, just so I can focus on the game, because I'm not nearly as accomplished as them. And also, it's in Korean. Which I think is the more relevant point. So I can only speculate, which is getting even more confused. There's a Liberator in the main. Okay, what's going on? Third command center for Maru, who's down 6 workers, against ByuN, who's got 2 racks now. All spawn up, as well as Stim on the way. Third command center for him. So overall, ByuN gonna have a little bit better economy. That's already looking good for him. He's got a bit better economy. He's got his infrastructure, and his third command center isn't far behind. So he's gonna be able to maintain that economic lead as well as have more production. But, oh, the Reaper's just chilling in the main. It's just hanging out. It decides to finish scouting. Looks like it went down to the Cyclone there. Triple Raven for Maru, as ByuN sets up for a medevac drop. There are a couple clones in the main. A very, like, a whole lot of mech units for a non-mech build to start. Triple Raven, double Cyclone, bunch of siege tanks. Of course, there's not much else you can build here. He wants to get back in the medevacs before he gets interference matrixed and he gets out in time. That depot looks like it is going to burn indeed. Medevacs just looking for another angle. Still mostly intact here. Scans. Very threatening scan. He's barely... Oh my god, he's so perfectly close to the... He knows that tank range so perfectly. He's 1 range out of it. He's gonna see the other tank here. He should. Takes a hit. Oh, but if he... ByuN. You're not locked in here with me, says Maru. Wait. Or the other way around. Either way, the medevacs get out. Unfortunately, no units. That was incredibly greedy from ByuN, but it tracks. ByuN, despite all this, maintains a better production, better economy. He's got 1-1 on the way, a little quicker than Maru. He has a slightly larger standing army. Those ravens are still quite a force multiplier. No matter what part of the game we're in. In the early game, they're great at shutting down the small amounts of units like we just saw. In the later game, anti-armor missile or even a few interference matrices can turn the tide in a fight. ByuN always looking for an opportunity to use those medevac drops. Though, not finding much here. Looks like we're gonna sit back and build up until we get those upgrades kicking in. Get to a higher supply, start taking the 4th base, which can be the focal point of any follow-up attacks here. Cyclones, waiting for the medevacs. Unfortunately, the units are just going to walk up and potentially kill him. He spots the Cyclones, gets 1, gets 2. And that opens up this angle to drop as well. Maru going to respond. Maru did not forget combat shield. He's just a little later on it. The medevacs, the Marines chasing. Maru with a vengeance. But not going to be able to hunt him down this time. And this drags the army out of position as ByuN drops into the... He's actually trapped. He's got 2 Marines stuck in between the NG base. Drops on the siege tank, though, in the main. The Viking looking for an opportunity. Anti-armor missile hit the medevacs. Will he kill? He does not kill the tank. That close. But unfortunate. ByuN manages to close the supply gap by throwing all those units away. And now Maru, up 7 workers. Does he have a 4th command center? He does. ByuN has a 4th as well, but Maru I don't think he's gonna let that slide. A scan, I think, spotted. More scans, they get all the intel. Okay, so ByuN, his army is mostly at home, looking to move out, and he has a 4th command center. ByuN is also sees that Maru is trying to take his 4th, but is unlikely to have an upgrade advantage. I guarantee you he was tracking when Maru finished that 1-1, which was slightly later than ByuN. So ByuN will potentially have a 2-2 tie. Did he just shoot his own Cyclone? That was his own Cyclone. I'm like 90% sure. Well, Cyclone is useless. And now ByuN gonna try some of that tactical banter. Maru gonna respond. As the scans, they continue to yell at each other from afar, but the distance is closing. Here we go. Yep, more scans. Just feeling it out. Neither willing to commit. You don't want to siege up your tanks and get the runaround from an opponent who sees that and simply goes around wherever you're sieged. Maru. Surprising there's not a scan there. ByuN scans. He's just about to have 2-2 finished, and he's nearly maxed out, so this is the best window of attack until we get to the late game with things like mass starport, which is likely our next step. Maru already started. 2 more starports and 2 more command centers. So he's thinking hard about it. Oh, Maru gonna try to jump the tanks, which are in kind of an awkward position. I'm not sure. Massive volley just obliterates a dozen or so Marines. Maru not able to get away in time there. There's enough interference matrix to potentially scramble every single tank. But at the same time, ByuN sliding in towards the 3rd. Maru probably mid-sentence typing there. Meanwhile, the rest of the fight, he jumps in. Anti-armor missile means a lot of ByuN's Marines getting blasted. But at the same time, Maru going right into ByuN's tank line. A costly fight for both sides, but overall, ByuN drops... Wait, no, Maru. God, they switched colors last... Maru dropping more heavily in supply. Ugh. Why are you like this? More tanks. Maru in a tough position. He needs to hold on to his 4th, but he's at risk of losing his 3rd as well. What are the mech weapons upgrades? We have +1. right now for ByuN. +1 about to finish from Maru. Finally getting that +2 armor. The Marines, slight split, slight stim. Not enough to take out these Liberators, but we'll get the siege tank here. Liberators clean up the tanks. Maru holds for now. The Vikings have to drop down in order to deal with the rest of the Marines, but ByuN holding a strong position. Still has that one tank on the low ground, which is consistently making things difficult. Every volley is buying a whole lot of time for ByuN. Driven back. And the split and stem, still a lot of damage. ByuN holding as long as he can here, as Maru cleans it up, but ByuN already has another army heading out, and he already has those bases on the right side. Maru hasn't been able to do really any counter damage. An orbital command, and the planetary gonna go down, right? Yes, orbital down as well, 2 for the price of 1. And the tank line not looking great enough. It hurts. Oh, there's a lot of Marines dying. I think ByuN has already done what he set out to do here, which is clear out those bases. Anything else he gets as a bonus, as long as he doesn't lose the rest of this army for absolutely free. Targets down the Liberators, loses a bunch of Marines for his trouble. But ByuN is still maintaining. He's going to have a 3-3 advantage for quite a time, almost the full upgrade length. He's got 20 more supply. He's got more bases. He's got a bunch of Marines in the third. Kills 15 more SCVs. Maru is on the ropes right now. At this rate, it looks like we're going to the ace match. I know Maru still has plenty of supply, but ByuN just keeps grinding through his defenses. His economy is suffering, and in fact, those 3-3 Marines are so valuable. Look at the fight. It's continuing. The tanks are shelling one of the last planetaries. In fact, it is the last planetary. Another set of tanks in the center of the map. He may drop his Vikings down, but another drop in the third. The Marines are finally cleared up. The planetary is being repaired, but it is not free. He picks up and heads to the main again, the revolving door. Maru can't put together enough to actually stop this right now, as his planetary is continuing being shelled. There's nothing to really drive back the tanks. Finally, the Liberators show up, but 3 more tanks may be enough to overwhelm the repairs, as going forward are the Marines. In behind the Liberators, the planetary goes down, the main base is under attack, and the siege of ByuN is just cutting down Maru at every turn. He's tearing him apart, and he's taking us to game 5. How appropriate for this first Korean StarCraft League, the 2 best Korean Terran players, taking us all the way. And essentially trading verbal... They're jousting... No, okay, they're banter. I don't know what they're saying. I really, at this point, they've essentially written an entire sitcom. This is more than I've ever seen, English or otherwise, any players talk, especially in a relatively high-profile match. There are hundreds of dollars on the line here, but, of course, both of them have won much more than that in the past, so... Okay, and now just to make things confusing, Maru has taken the blue color yet again. So in case you weren't confused before, I'm sure we're going to add to it, and Maru is the one who's going to be proxy rexing yet again. Ah! Oh, exhausting series, and we're not done yet. Though, maybe this will be a blessedly short game. Can we bring up... I think they're earning their cards here today. Yeah, so once again, Maru is going for the 2 Rex after ByuN with his revolving door of medevac drops. Well, revolving runways, really. I guess door doesn't really work because they avoid doors entirely, but it's getting too complicated. I'm losing it over here, but hopefully you're enjoying. One more time, like and subscribe and check out the Korean StarCraft League. It is a weekly... I know there's been leagues with a similar name in the past, but I think it's the most accurate one. You can support it every week, get the replays. If you think you can cast better than me, well, fair. Well, then go ahead and get the replays by supporting the league and do it yourself. Okay, it's not as easy as it looks. Sometimes it's easier. Most times, I hope not. Two Reapers versus one Reaper. I mean, has he seen it? Well, he has now. But there's no time for trash talk as the Reaper's in the natural. And ByuN says there's always time. Oh my god. ByuN's like, really? Maru says, yes. Well, but the Reaper actually slides past it. Oh my god, here we go. And another Reaper. He doesn't actually kill the first one. The SCV absorbing some of the hits, but the Marine adding a lot. Oh my. A messy, and he just cancels the command center. I think he doesn't want to leave himself in the same scenario he was a couple games ago, which is feeling obligated to defend that low ground, because it's unlikely it's going to work out. A whole lot of those units already badly bruised. Well, in fact, ByuN loses his Reaper. He still has 3 Marines. Maru, mistake! He lost both. Maru, question mark, question mark. That one translates. Yep. Everyone's questioning what just happened. They can't even complain about lag, as this is held on the Korean server. Maybe brain lag. I get that one all the time. The Reaper, another Reaper goes down. Maru with another Reaper in the base. But huge mistakes there. You really can't be losing those Reapers. Even if you don't do critical damage, you need to keep them alive to keep them busy. But Maru fails to do so. Yeah. Another question mark. I was making sure. I wasn't sure if that was the same one and it just hadn't faded yet. ByuN educating him. Maru. Oh my god. Okay. They're just writing essays. Okay. I will be asking Maddox to translate at least some of this, and maybe Jimmy will post it in a comment when this is posted online. So hopefully we can get a breakdown, because it's past my even pseudo translation abilities, even though I went to the well accredited and respected school of making things up. So it's beyond me. Wait, oh my god, Maru's just building. He's building just on the high. He's proxied again. The double proxy. He fell back halfway across the map. I didn't even register it. He's now just building Marines on the high ground. Oh, Maru. And now sending... He wants to add to this push. What a game. What a series. But that's more Marines than you'd expect here. I'm sure ByuN a bit confused. The tank drops out. The Cyclone in full retreat. Scan. And now ByuN has a medevac. But I don't think Maru realizes there's 8 Marines in there. Looking for a lock-on. Tries to micro into the medevac, but now there's too close. He's dropping Marines out. Everybody dropping into the fight here. Targets down a Cyclone, but the other Cyclone locked onto the tank. ByuN saves himself with the medevac. What a hectic game. Okay, well. Oh, I'm losing it. Now, a Liberator flying across the map. A full medevac for both sides. A Liberator and a medevac coming in. ByuN has plenty of units to defend. But will he be ready for the Liberator on the other side? Whereas the medevac of ByuN is going to be dropping out. And Maru's committed so many units across the map. The medevac just goes down. The Liberator going to find already 8 SCVs. There is a tank in position here for Maru. So I think he's going to get the better end of this early exchange. 14 SCVs. Already lost for ByuN. And he has a later third command center here. I'm starting to get, I'm hyperventilating. which is very rare. I'm usually pretty good about that. Two medevacs? For what? He barely has enough units? Well, you know what ByuN's gonna do with 4 medevacs for barely enough units to fit in 4 medevacs. You guys know. Alright. He may even bring some SCVs with him. Yeah, anyways, ByuN picks up. Wait. He makes space. He drops 2. He comes home with the medevac, drops 2 Marines out, and picks up a tank. He's got 3 tanks and 8 Marines. This is the most stylistically, thematically appropriate series between Maru versus ByuN. Move over, I am Katowice. The Korean StarCraft League is here. Well, a single tank. He may be able to just use that interference matrix. Will he use it that early? He's gonna... the tank unsieges. He may... uses the interference matrix on a Raven, which is a bit of a confusing choice. Here, the Liberator on its way back. He's sieged up the edge of the natural here. But here comes some Vikings because it wasn't already complicated enough. Locks on with the Cyclone, but the Cyclone goes down, as does the Liberator. ByuN's seat, but he scrambles too, uses some auto turrets. Here come the Marines. Does he have stim? He does have stim, but he targets the medevacs. They absorb some shots for the tanks. Takes out 2. Oh my god, it's a mess. It's an absolute disaster piece, and I love it out here. But ByuN is winning, I think, and therefore I am. But I am not sure if Maru... Well, Maru has 3 tanks to 3, though one of the tanks is back on the other side. ByuN has stim done, but stim and combat shield from Maru. There's a site. Here we go again. The Marine spread is good. He's got a bunch of unsieged tanks, but the Marauders are actually added in. Marauders, a surprisingly good addition. Rarely do you see them, but in this specific scenario, where ByuN is using a minimal amount of units, including unsieged tanks, the Marauders actually come in clutch. Usually Marauders aren't used because Marines are simply better bang for your buck. While Marauders counter siege tanks, they're countered by siege tanks. And usually are unable to close the distance. And of course, on top of that, they require a tech lab, which means less Marine production overall. There's a reason Marine tank is so popular, not Marine Marauder tank in this matchup. But Maru adapting to the situation, and I think so far it's paying off for him. And scan, counter, scan. Alright, the siege continues. Well, the engineering bays are actually very important to have here. Yeah, you can't lose the engi bay. He's actually going to lose a lot of SCVs just to try to keep the engi bays alive to finish his upgrades. He's gonna get it, right? Oh my god, it's so close. Literally 1 second. One more shot. He saves it. It costs him some SC. The Vikings move up. He finishes well. He's gonna have to rebuild those engi bays, but Maru's the one now in a crazy position to get the damage done. Alright, okay, now scramble, siege tanks, Marines split and stim. Maru closing in. ByuN just doesn't have that much at home. Or anywhere else, because that's where all his units are. Maru decides, without air control though, he's at risk of Liberators. It's gonna have to at least re-angle his units here. ByuN maintaining the supply lead, but you don't really see it on the ground right now. ByuN starts +2 armor, and Maru starts +2 attack, and that's it. Between them, they got a full +2 set. Siege tanks. Marines. Marines targeting. Doesn't quite perfectly split there. It's a massacre. What a bloodbath. ByuN gets the siege tanks for the cost of a whole bunch of Marines. Maru killed 24 Marines in 1 tank. ByuN killed 8 Marines in 4 tanks, which overall I think ByuN comes out slightly ahead. Wait, actually he killed 5 tanks. The sieged and unsieged tanks apparently count differently. I guess that's fair, but... They just seem to be committed to taking any units they can send across the map and sending them. As ByuN showcases here with a full medevac, both players dropping out, might try to target the medevac, doesn't get it in time. ByuN manages to get 2 medevacs of Marines in here, and that's just enough to overwhelm. They'll expect one of us in the wreckage, brother. 1 Marine doesn't make it to the dropship in time and is left behind. Okay, ByuN has caught up with his double upgrades. Pull it together. It's the last game. It could go 40 more minutes at this rate, but it's the last. Let me refocus, guys. We got along in the action for now. Okay. 2-2. Finally, Maru notices, but most of ByuN's army shoots his own Marine! A blood sacrifice to start the fight! And the Marines on the high ground from Maru got a better concave here. He has +2/+1, but the siege tank's definitely going to turn the tide. Targets down the Viking, but gets hit by the siege tanks on the way out. ByuN still has a drop to the left side. Spotter Diva taken out by a couple scouting Marines on the right. The tanks left behind. 3-2 starts for Maru. 3-3 has not started for ByuN. ByuN gonna have a significant advantage in +1 mech weapons for those siege tanks. It's about to complete. It's all done. Big advantage going into these fights, especially considering Maru just started his +1 mech. Another drop headed towards the main. Maru, how many? Oh my god, full medevac. The survivor from earlier. Maru headed around the left side. ByuN working towards the right. The drop finds one of the Vikings, targeting down some SCVs as well. Here comes Maru. Has to pick up the orbital, but I don't think it's gonna make it. The reinforcements on the way back. ByuN says, stop, stop, stop. 1 sec, we can negotiate. Diplomacy works. Well, Maru says no. Very multi-purpose symbol there. ByuN, still 180 supply. Losing that command center really hurts, though, as Maru already has a well-established fourth. ByuN trying to flank. There's 3 medevacs and more Marines, so the flank not going to work out there. And the boys are pulled. Is that enough to turn the tides? I don't think so, as ByuN kind of wandering into the fray here. The supply gap has flipped, as now ByuN is the one suffering. Lost 16 SCVs, those medevacs of Marines. Losing that 4th base seems to have thrown ByuN off dramatically. There's a Liberator that was on the base as well. ByuN picks up and heads to the main, except the medevac with 2 tanks. Well, one of them is taken out. Only one of the tanks able to drop out. The rest are already badly bruised. ByuN, he's desperate. He's desperate to get damage done. That 4th base snipe is a complete tone shift in this game. And in fact, the lead, I think, solidly in Maru's favor, as now he has more supply, he has more workers, he has more bases, he's got more tanks. He doesn't have more Marines, which, you know, appropriate. But these tanks are going to be shut down. The Marines not in position to deal with it. The Vikings taking out almost the last medevac there. Reinforcements streaming across the map. But now ByuN is on the back foot. He's cornered. But we all know how dangerous the laser raptor that is ByuN is when cornered. Fusion core is on the way from Maru, thinking about advanced ballistics. Well, the scans on the other side, that was ByuN's main base. That shows how desperate he is in this scenario. A drop in the main on top of the tank. Gonna be able to take it out. Both medevacs survive for now. Maru doesn't take out that 1 HP medevac. Has to bring a lot of units back. ByuN He ain't dead yet. He still has even army supply. He's got 3-2. He never actually got the +3 armor. Neither player did. Finally going to be cleaned up in the main, but the Vikings have to come back to deal with this, which means the attack at the front is able to grind through and maybe take out the third command center, at least forces it to lift for now. But ByuN loses a lot of supply in the main base. It eventually gets cleaned up, and Maru is still maintaining a lead here in Game 5 of the KSL Week 1 Finals. The orbital is burning. The fusion core was delayed. Advanced ballistics a long way off there. Oh, ByuN picks up ByuN! I love how we saw the shadow of it. You can it's so stressful. I'm freaking out. ByuN now has, Maru has 5 bases. Even if he lost that left side, it wouldn't have been the end of the world here. Whereas ByuN is barely holding on. He's now moving. He's long distance mining from his natural. He hasn't even set his SCVs over there. ByuN is barely mining compared to Maru. He's got to, but the low ground. He may be able to force his way in, get the damage done, but Maru's air control is overwhelming. It's only going to be scans here. The Liberators, more than enough to drive the tanks back. The circle of SCVs, the repair circle. And ByuN will lose another tank or two. Wait a second, there's actually no siege tanks for Maru, so he's able to move up with the Marines and gun down the Liberators for now. Advanced ballistics on the way. I think we'll see some chat when, well, at this rate, ByuN feels like he's losing, but it's still so hectic. Neither has been able to comment for a while, but ByuN, I feel like you could just once a minute send something to the left side of the map now as Maru and find medevacs, because that's how ByuN do. We all know he's forced to drop at least once every turn, so in fact, that is what Maru is doing. Because at this point, oh no, ByuN! Maru sends in, and Maru's gonna snipe! Come on! ByuN's like, how did you know, bro? Maru just looks at him. Come on. At this point, you're more predictable than the ending of a Star Wars movie. Come on. We all knew you were going to send those medevacs in and try that 1 in a million shot. The army supply is actually in favor of ByuN, and will continue to be, because Maru has 40 more workers almost. He needs to take an overwhelming fight, otherwise Maru's going to win the war. There's just simply too much economy. What is happening here? How did Maru end up behind ByuN? Well, those medevacs were probably trying for a drop on the other side of the map. What a hectic... He's gonna drop them. There's no base there. The classic... Oh, no. A devastating volley from the high ground. The Liberators, at heavy cost, shut down. But another Liberator moves up. Advanced ballistics is complete. Liberator is so far away. The planetary still intact. ByuN losing a critical amount of units. Now Maru, he scans for the army, sees he can drop for a moment. Gives ByuN a taste of his own medicine, and ByuN right now, not a big fan of its flavor. ByuN, what's left? ByuN picks up with everything. Effectively everything. And heads for the main. He skirts the edge of the sensor tower. There's a turret! And multiple medevacs. Well, here we go. The final drop. I think I can say with confidence, because if Maru deals with this, then there's not much left. The starports are vulnerable. There's a couple tanks already. The starports themselves gonna go down, but there's no tanks left. This feels like his last gasp here, but the Marines are gunned down, slaughtered in the main base. ByuN finds an opportunity. He tried to drag Maru off the map, and he succeeded to some extent, but at what cost? It's been a downward trend, economically and in the supply, ever since Maru was able to counterattack that 4th base and take it out. ByuN, GG, Maru will be your victor in the Korean StarCraft League Week 1. Currently the only one But what did you guys think? I think it's clearly a lot of mistakes and a lot of great plays on either side. But clearly the players having fun with it. And it's not like it was a bad game. It was just chaotic. A brawl. And a great time. Them both putting the effort in over an hour-long series. Make sure to check out the KSL. Check out that description. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you kept with me all the way here to the end. And I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. Check the description. Like, subscribe. Check out this video that Jimmy put up there. Hope I made your day, a big chunk of it, a little bit better. Thank you for watching. Good luck, have fun. Stay chill.